Welcome back to episode 2 of A2Z Shanghai with Axel and myself, Zenon. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Anthony Rondy from Rondy Groupe.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you guys.
Very great. And he's a special guest because it's his first 11 or nearly 12 months now in China. And it's going to be great to hear his experiences in China and what he's learned over the times between European business and the Chinese business. All right.
Yeah, before we start, I would say maybe we give one point what we have changed since our first podcast. So basically our aim is it to introduce younger entrepreneurs, right? Young professionals, be it Chinese professionals, be it international professionals who are coming to China, right? And we want to talk with them about their challenges because in the last 2 decades, many things changed. And now it is not as easy anymore to be successful in China because Chinese people are already quite sophisticated. Chinese economy is quite sophisticated. So therefore we have Anthony here today in order to explain us about why he came here, what he and his company is doing here, and what are his observations, challenges, what he likes, and what probably is a bit surprising for him.
Thank you for this great introduction.
No worries.
So, my name is Anthony, I'm 28, and first of all, I come in China, like Zenon said, in January. So I arrive because I had this opportunity to come in China to work. Work in the business family who began long time ago in the 70s in China.
Wow.
So it's an import-export company. So we manufacture in China and we import in Europe to sell mainly in France. So we have different kind of goods. We have hardware, common tools like gardening tools. We have also automobile tools, and we have also working clothes for worker, PP. That was really true that today China's changed. We see a lot of changement in this country. For our business, it's we are on the good side on the thing because it's hard now. The Chinese market is harder than before, and also abroad the competition is hard. But as you said, there are more and more technology is more and more involved in the process.
Yeah.
So it's also, if you find the good factory, if you play with the good people, you can really find the asset for your company, and you can have this. You can really take this advantage.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you make good connections in China within factories and suppliers, it makes a big difference.
Yes.
From product quality,
Yes.
right? Which you can actually talk about later on, where how product quality is very important for
Sure.
you and your position here in China when you travel around and you communicate back to HQ. No, but you recently said that Rondy Groupe has been in China since the 70s,
Yes.
right? But it was founded in France.
Founded in France in 1943.
Okay, which part?
Close to Lyon, Saint-Étienne.
Okay.
And it's not really Saint-Étienne, it's a little village close,
Okay.
not really famous.
Fair enough. And that was then founded by your great-grandfather.
Yes,
Wow.
I'm the fourth generation.
You're the fourth generation.
I'm the fourth generation, yes.
Wow, fair play.
And we want to continue, this history.
Yeah.
But yes, it's important to go beyond all the issue we can find, and yes, it's today it's even if it's complicated,
Yeah.
we have I think we have really possibility to continue progress
Sure.
And yes, it's.
But I think one question that everyone would be curious to know why you would leave your home country, where HQ is also for you. Why did you decide at the end of last year, 2024, to come to China? What was that journey for you?
That's why really hard at first, because I work 1 year at the company before to leave. I make my studies, business school, and to be prepared to this business after. Even if when you are on the field, it's completely different than what you expected. And when I go abroad, I really think about that, because, as you said, it's you really go out of your comfort zone. So it's really difficult to do that. And yes, we are European. China and Asia is completely different. The way of living, the culture is totally different. And for even today, even with the social media, a lot of people, I think it's hard to imagine to live here. And when you are here, you really see the difference.
Sure.
So,
what was the biggest difference you saw within professional life between working in France and working here in China?
To my opinion, the dynamism is completely different. You have even today, you have maybe 10 years ago that was more relevant, but even today you have a lot of opportunity if you can catch it again. You have this period of the COVID that I think hurts a lot the geopolitical relation between Europe and China. But yeah, business start again, and there are opportunities, and yes, the dynamism. You find here only people who overcome, who really want to not change their life, but it's an adventure. It's really an adventure to come here, and you really face different challenges, and you find people who match with your way of thinking. I can say you are not here by chance in a certain way. You choose to be here. You can not have the success that you think first, but it's a really an adventure, and you met a lot of entrepreneurs, you met a lot of people, and all this dynamism for me is really relevant of Asia. Everything is every day, every month, every week you have new things, and yes.
Maybe I add one observation, because if I go through the social media, I read a book or something, right? There's always a lot of criticism about young people, right? So they always believe the greatest people beside the ones who stormed the beaches at Omaha Beach or whatever in Normandy, right? So the next great generation probably has been in the 70s and 80s. That's what you basically read everywhere. And when the boomers are out of business, then basically the economy will drop, right? Because the young people are rather not interested. And therefore, I think it's quite interesting to really sit here together with two young people, right? Because Zenon is also 28, right?
I'm 26.
26, right.
Yeah. I'm the youngest one here on the table.
And Anthony is 28, and we talk here about responsibility, about life, about challenge, right? About business school, right? So this is not just, I have some fancy rich parents who put me all the eggs in the basket and I just have to pick it. This is about white people who look for the challenge, right? People who want to learn, people who want to improve, people who want to take, but who also want to give to the community, right? And this is what I think is quite interesting. And one observation which I had here in China, which probably answers part of your point about why China is so dynamic, is basically the people here have nothing to lose because nobody's giving them anything. If you have a very common background, well, there's a very basic health insurance, right? There's a super basic government support like pension fund, super basic. I think you can even not live from this one. So maybe your family will look after you, right? But in the end of the day, the Chinese people, I think, why they are strong, why they are fast, why they are innovative. On one side, they want, but on the other side, they have to learn, because nobody is taking them by the hand, right? Totally different from France or Germany, right? So nobody, if you are 1 year out of job in Germany, wow, high five, right? I mean, government pays great, right? Of course, I over-accelerated a little bit, many of those people looking for jobs. Sure. But here in China, if you're 1 year out of business, you are out. Yeah. That's it, right? And this is something where I believe China is interesting and so dynamic, because the people are really innovative and they really fight.
Also, one interesting observation that I just actually came across is that the both of you have something in common, that both of you came from Europe to China in your early 20s, right? And I'm the one that went from China to Europe and then back again. No? So I mean, now that you've arrived in China in 2005, and Axel, you came to China for the first
2002.
In 2002.
Just for the audience, I'm 51 years old, so the gray hair is for real. Yeah.
And it's not believable. No, but I mean, you must have also experienced something similar to what Anthony experienced this year within your first year. That the culture, the language was.
I believe the success of China is to 10% due to the Chinese and to 90% due to the mistakes of the Europeans. That's what I believe. Because if you come here with arrogance and ignorance, then basically you will fail, right? So just today, for instance, I read something about a German car, Audi E5, and that's basically the electric car here in China, the Audi electric car. So we come a bit off topic, but I think it's a good example. So basically, this car started sales, I think, in August 2025. The first announcement has been they sold 10,000 units within 13 minutes or something like. But today, basically, I checked the official records. Of course, you can only find it on the Chinese web pages. They sold in September and October together a little bit more than 2,000 cars. So in 2 months, 2,000 cars. So basically, the latest German innovation made in China with Chinese engineering and this and this and this, which should be already much, much, much better than everything what Germany has in terms of cars, right? That's a statement from Audi, is a total failure in China, right? So it shows that the Europeans, from my point of view, still didn't learn enough from the Chinese, right? So if you come here and you think you can still do things in the German way, and the French way, and the US way, the Chinese, they don't care, because the market is big enough that they can choose which product they take. And that's a big difference from 20 years ago, because 20 years ago, when I came here with Metro, I mean, you either go to Walmart, you go to Carrefour, or you go to Metro, because there only have been 3 large supermarkets, right? So we had our business automatically, right? But now, of course, for Anthony, and he will talk about it, you are a small fish in a big, big, big ocean. It doesn't matter who you are. Sure. And for the Chinese consumer, they don't differentiate anymore. If you are an international company, international brand, or you're a local company or local brand. 20 years ago, they would have a preference for international. Now they definitely have a preference for domestic, right? So I think it's much, much more challenging now than ever to have a business here.
A lot of things that you're saying is really interesting. First, as you said, come in China and just remake the thing that you do in Europe that doesn't work here, because the value is not the same, the way of working, and Chinese people don't wait to be impressed by European. In the past, Europe was something for them, I think, like the product, the way that oh, it's European product, and you have something. Sure. But today, I think also it's relative to the self-confidence of China, because China is more and more, that's begin by creating like success factor, success company, and after people like are more and more confident in the product on mainland China, and now it's the reverse. Some international, some Europeans said, "Wow, this brand of car is amazing. Or this phone is you cannot buy in Europe." Wow, it's crazy, you know. And the thing that's why this dynamism is amazing. And I think also I arrived at the good period, because for me, after the COVID, we was at a certain moment. It's a new acceleration now. We see more and more European who came back. We see like like even if on a global scale, maybe you have maybe less American here, because that was attraction anyway. American with, for example, we do every year 2 times we go to the content fair, and now compared to before, you have less American than before, so you have less people, but you have other country who parts now. You have more entrepreneurs who be create, and I think today, okay, the market is complicated, but it's not a good vision to think that no more can do business today. It's just, I think you just need to be really understanding the value in China and how to work. In my work, I do several things. I do sourcing products, so I go to factories. I work with every day. I speak with Chinese people to find new factories. I source on Alibaba, lot of kind of Chinese website, and I really go in the factory to talk with people, and you see that even the way of managing people is completely different. For example, we go last time I go in Hangzhou, and the girls present me his team. On his team maybe 20 people. The average age of people 24.
Wow.
So she explained that. I asked her why your team is like this, because in France, I take my country as example, but normally like a manager don't have enough confidence on people of 24 to the task they have behind, you know, like it's hard to dedicated mission. You know that, okay, you are young, you have energy to do things, okay, but you don't have the experience. Sure. You can make too much mistake, but for her it's more like the market today is more and more the market for young people. So I need a team of young people, and that was really relevant, because she increases sales. She has people who are more connected and they understand more the AI. They understand more also the competitors, so they can anticipate the evolution of things. This kind of thing also it's important, and I think it's relevant close to the self-confidence of China. Absolutely. They really give when you give an opportunity of young people in the country, for me that's mean you have something happen.
I have a question in this regard, since you have worked in the head office in France and now you work in your offices here, right? So how do you see the difference in working hours? And I don't mean the working hour punch in, punch out. This probably is pretty much the same. I mean the working hour including WeChat, right? Including telephone calls, including video calls with the European team, either early morning, not possible, so late night, right? Yes. So what is the difference you see here in the part of motivation, without being disrespectful?
I can just say one thing, because I've had a few nights out with Anthony. Okay. And while we're having dinner and a bite to eat, he stands up and goes outside because France is calling, right? Because he needed to update France regarding his whole day here, because France is still working, right? Anyways, you can talk more of it, but just to paint a picture, Anthony is working non-stop 24/7.
Sure. Which is also a learning. So please, people, the new generation is not a lost generation. And I say this because we talked before I also work together with a very, very young Chinese team, and I'm every day totally surprised. Totally surprised how motivated they are, how professional they are, right? And I think their team leader is 30 years old. So is also very calm person, very intelligent person, very structured person. So I really don't believe that the new generation is a lost generation by all means. But please.
So I can say that in France we have like a certain organization because it's business family. It's also a way of managing, maybe also a bit different. But we take my example. First thing is we have some people who grow in China in the year. The purchase team they go in China, so they are also normally they understand, this way of working. They understand, but when you work with China and when you work in China, it's completely different. And even for me, I heard about stories before to going there. My grandpa make a lot of travel there to make business, but that was for me really interesting to be there, to live in China, and your experience is completely different because when you come and you see things and you know that you are going back to your place, but when you stay there, you have all this environment and you really catch different things. And first, as you said, it's not a question of working hours on the paper. It's more like these people are dedicated to their work, exactly. And they really are. Sometimes I feel that people in China are more concerned about the healthness of the company than French people. I don't say that French people don't do the job, but in the action, in the way of doing things, it's impressive how they are dedicated to their job.
So the connection is much stronger with the company. Okay.
And but you are at 9,000 kilometers from the headquarters, but it's crazy. But you have this energy, this way of working, totally different. And yes, also this way of solving
issues.
Yeah, is really interesting.
Like how? Can you give us an example?
Like my head, Oscar, is the director of the office. So we have three inspectors and one people who take care about in charge of shipping. And because we have a lot of kind of goods, we need to organizing the shipping, and we need to also organizing the inspection. And we have a lot of issues, as you can imagine. Sometimes the quality is not good. You need to do rework. Sometimes you need to change things. You have the connection, the relation between the QC in France and the QC in China with the QC. So you need to adapt, and this cultural adaptation sometimes. For me, that was funny because sometimes I made the bridge between now because I'm in China between Oscar who speak really good French, and in France because sometimes I understand what he want to say, but he think like Chinese, but in France in French, and in French we think like French people, and we are not here in China, Sure. And all these little things, it's nothing, but that's really show that you cannot like just arrive with your way of thinking. Normally, you need to understand how Chinese people work, and today I work like them. I work like I finish late than friends, but for the good reason, because I love what I do. And yes, sometimes you need to take some WeChat call. You are not obligated to take this call, but in a certain way, the job needs to be done on this way, because it's more like last time the situation that Zenon talk is we are outside and I take a call for a team of the purchase. I take the call and we need to solve an issue, but we solve it in 45 minutes. Okay, we are out of working hours, but sometimes because China is like that and you are all the time in the action, you need to take the action now. And if you don't answer, you know that I don't know how to explain, but you are in the flow. You need to be part of
China's fast. China's fast.
I mean, we spoke about that in the last episode, no? That China's fast and Europeans need to keep up, but also when you yourself are here, you need to be also quick and sharp, no?
Yeah, that's a quite interesting learning. Actually, strengths can become a weakness. If you take, for instance, if we go back to this Audi car, right? Just as an example, probably the German engineers, and I mean, I just make it up, apologies, I'm not from car industry, right? So anyway, probably they thought, spent a lot of time into it, and they wanted to make the perfect thing. But if you try to do things too perfect in China, you simply lose the connection to the market, because the market is fast, right? So you need to see things from the consumer perspective. So who's your consumer and what do they really need and what do they really expect, right? And maybe it is not the same of what you can deliver. So quite often I think there's too many thoughts inside, a lot of over-engineering, right? A lot of how do I make the right marketing thing and this and this and this. So until Westerners have thought this through, the Chinese actually, they already have the product in the market, right? So and then if they see it doesn't work, then probably they push the next one, right? So they do, and that's something what we knew about 20 years ago already, that they have an approach learning by failure and not learning by intense study, right? So it's a totally different approach, and which makes China extremely fast and, like Anthony said, highly competitive, basically, right? So, but one interesting point, which is a learning for me here out of the podcast, Anthony said already twice or three times, you can still win in China, right? But you have to win differently than probably previously, right? But you still have an open playbook and you can still win.
But I think about something. People in Europe not really understand the way of China. For example, you take, if people want to make business in China, that's really not easy, and I think that's going to be complicated if they don't use the good way, or they use like the way that they use in Europe. But if you reverse the thing, you can. Some Chinese people do business in Europe by themselves, like through some platform, like TikTok and And this is funny, is sometimes they also do the same thing in certain way. They don't use they don't try to understand really how Europeans think, and because the market is today more powerful in China, sometimes I think some Chinese make the same mistake as some European maybe years ago. Yeah. And for me, the future was based on a really, really good cooperation between Chinese and European. If you are enough humble, and if you come in China to learn how Chinese works, and if you learn Chinese is almost better, and if you are in the team where Chinese people want the same, and you find the good people, the right people to do that, I think you can have like the best match, because after you can understand the European market, and also you can understand the way of Chinese work, and you can do the reverse. And this creation of a team can really create a vision behind, and like, okay, and this, after a lot of things happen, we never know what happened, but this is for me an interesting part, because even today in China, you have young team, they give the chance to young people, but I never see even in factory, in company in China, I never see like take a table with 12 chairs, like 6 European, 6 Chinese, completely, like I don't know, maybe it's impossible in a certain way, but I believe in that, in the way that the day Chinese and European can understand each other, maybe something happen, and that can be interesting to see that.
I mean, in a way, that example that you just gave, you kind of match that, right? Because you've become the bridge now between France and China, right? Because I was going to ask you that communication between the two offices must have gotten a lot better since you've been here, right?
I think is the biggest issue for every international company,
For sure.
and more you are bigger you are, bigger issue you have, because it's like maybe if it's a big company, we can imagine like a manager in France with a big company is more responsibility there, so it's more complicated to him to think like people in China more than you know what I mean, more than someone in China who is at certain level in a small company can understand, you know, like all this kind of vision. It's complicated to match.
Sure.
And because our business is at family, is like a human size. This is really interesting. Like we can really advance on a lot of case.
How many people are in your company in total?
In total, 140.
Okay, wow.
So it's in France 135 and 33 and 34. Sorry, and we are 6 in China.
Wow, that's amazing. Just in 2 locations, France and in China.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty cool. For a company of that size to be also a family company and to be already operating and working on a global level.
That's why
a good
it's
job.
that's why it's really incredible opportunity. The life gave me, you know, by my father, but also the life, you know, we can be the.
You see, young people are also humble, right? So that's also something. So, yeah. But tell us a little bit about what are some observations in the culture. You talked a little bit about the working culture, but what else has been surprising for you coming here?
You mean in the way of living?
Way of living, you know, like for instance, just to give you one example, because I'm born and raised in East Germany, so when I came here and I saw all those army policemen, the kids with the red Honglingjing. So it hasn't been something weird to me. So I felt, oh, okay, I'm like 10 years back, GDR again, right? But of course now probably things change. So just to have this example, other people talk a lot about food, right? Other people talk a lot about the nightlife here, because actually Shanghai is also one of the cities which actually never gets dark, right? You can go to a barber shop, cut your hair 24/7, right? You can go to a restaurant 24/7. So here's really. So what have been other things surprising you?
You have a lot. In a certain way, you have a lot of things to say, but. The thing that most surprised me, as you said, maybe is like the things never really stop here. Everything is in movement. But I was more shocked by the like, you know, before coming, you have some pre-ID on the way of living of Chinese people, and even, you know, like the way of my fathers in China even today, and my grandfather and my father is completely different. And that's why also it's important to be here, because if you come here 20 days, you see, I don't know, for example, you see when people in the street doing bad things, you can remember that. But if you stay longer in China, you know that it's one case out of a lot of things. Like, for example, the pollution was shocked me, because in the past my grandpa was, if you will be in Shanghai, you see the gray sky, you never see the sun. When I wake up, I open the window, it's like a perfect sun.
But your grandfather has been right. It's in the last 10, 15 years it improved. Yeah?
But that's why it's for me it's a big improvement, and it's a lot of things change. And yes, I take an example really extreme,
absolutely right.
But the evolution in general, convenient. Everything here is convenient.
How about the people? You talked a little bit about your workers. How about the everyday people you meet?
People are really friendly, really open. Even if I speak a bit Chinese, but even if you just make a step to someone, he make a step for you. Like it's really opening in the mind. In the mind, we have this vision of outside China. We're not going to talking politics, but outside of China, we have this vision, and sometimes people are maybe more open than some European countries. I think they see you. I travel a lot, and sometimes I arrive in place like you have no foreigner, you are never foreigner there because only factories, and people are kind. They look hard, but when you smile to them, they open to you, and they are really happy to they are proud to their country, and they are really happy to see you, and yes, it's a really pleasant country for me to live, even if we are in Shanghai, 28 million people.
Huge.
And I come from a city, I come from a little village of 2,000 people, so that was crazy for me, but yes, it's you find your peace. You find your moment of peace. You find it's not all the time noisy everywhere. You can find some good places to you can find the balance. You can find the balance.
I have a question because I can imagine that many people when they first come here or when they first plan to come here, the first thought for them is, oh, I'm not going to understand a single thing because the language is completely different, right? And you just mentioned that you do speak a bit of Chinese, and I also believe that you've been taking lessons, which is also very, very good. I believe that. As well as just speaking to your coworkers in Chinese on a daily basis, that helps as well. But the question is that when you first went to a factory to inspect for quality control, right? And as you mentioned before, you went to a place where there was no foreigners and you were the only one there. How was that interaction? I'm guessing there was a translator, but...
Yes, I use a translator. After you do your job, they know how to help you, so they help you in your job. But yes, it's you still have this interaction. You can understand people. Some areas of China is the accent is harder than the others. So even now I can speak with them a bit, but it's not really easy. But yes, they are involved in they are dedicated to what they do also. So they really want to help you, and they understand that it's important to help you in this way. So yes, it's not easy, and I don't talk too much about that. But when I arrived in China, I was excited and terrified at the same time, because I was terrified by the fact that at the beginning you face a lot of issue. How can I get a taxi? How can I do this? How can I do that? So yes, it's terrifying in a certain way. But after you in a few time you adapt yourself, and yes, you are like a drop of water in the ocean. But you just adapt to this area, and after you feel good in this place, and yes, you learn about interaction, and after, even if you don't, I'm sure you two both know people in Shanghai who don't speak Chinese, and they are really well, they live their best life,
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's,
because it's clean, it's safe, people are friendly. What really, back to the point of language, what really surprises me, like when I came here, the Chinese, they would always apologize to me that they don't speak English. So I felt, well, it's China, right? So I don't expect from you that you speak English, but they are really actually quite friendly people,
Yeah. And now we know, like, with the AI, with the translation is really like...
True.
But that's never replace the fact that if you are a good Chinese, you can really interact with people fluently. you have this flow. You develop this flow with people, and with that you really create this cultural relation. And even now, sometimes when I speak with supplier, even if I write down, sometimes I ask my colleague to look at the answer, and I said, the way that he answered this way is the thing behind, the picture behind is this or that, you know. And now I just begin to feel this moment, and this is really interesting, and this is really relevant from China, because we have in Chinese, for me, you know, maybe more than me, but in Chinese language you have a lot of things hidden behind the sense.
You raise a very, very interesting point, because just yesterday I had a call with US, right? No, yesterday actually was with London, and what happened there is that they missed the deal because most probably due to a very straightforward way of communication, right? So British people, German people are really very straight, right? And the Chinese, in order to not losing face, they wrote, yeah, it's okay, fine, no problem, right? And then, so the European side kept on asking, pushing, and then at one point the Chinese party just said, okay, we're out of it, right? And so I double checked, and then it turned out they don't like, actually they told me they don't like to be treated like a PE, so like a little assistant, right? Because this has been totally a lack of communication, where a very straightforward communication meets the Chinese entity, which basically is not answering straightforward, which is answering in a way to protect the face and to keep a good harmony, but the Europeans don't understand, right? So that's a very interesting point what you raised just now, not just to translate, to also ask what is the real meaning behind.
That's why I really learn that when I go in factory, because sometimes, yes, even if you don't understand, you see these people on their work field, and you know, they are proud to present you. Like in France or in Germany, we are like really proud to present, like we do if we do a homemade I don't know, kind of product. We're really happy to show the knowledge, the way of working. But in this kind of area, for me, it's the right moment to ask questions, and to ask also deep question on the way of working of the cultural company, really the thinking behind, and also the organization, the managing of people. And on this kind of situation, you can, every time you go in one factory, you catch something there, you know, and you step by step you build an understanding of Chinese. But if you just arrive and said, I want this at this price, is like that, you know, like if you want to do something really perfectly, that's not working like that. Like you really need to try to harmonize things, balance. You find issue, and the biggest thing for me is you find an issue with Chinese, and you find a way together to fix it. And this is important, because for me, it's a cooperation to achieve a goal together, and it's first step to partnership, and after you bring confidence, and I guess for me it's
for me, maybe to bring this to one point is you don't need to develop something for tomorrow, because the market is very fast now, right? Super, super fast. Better you have something which really hits the consumer demand. It doesn't matter if B2B or B2C, which hits the consumer demand right now, but don't try to develop something which is also valid tomorrow or valid the day after tomorrow, because you simply do not know anymore. So everybody who has a 5-year strategy on products and this and goes hardcore this way, I believe that's a failure, right? Just very recently, I read about a German company giving up after 123 years or something like this, right? And last week I went to a business event. Actually, Zenon also has been there, and I met some Chinese GMs, and one of them told me, working for a German company. We don't need to mention the name, but he said, okay, he's working for a hidden champion. And what means hidden champion? Means a champion who hides. So basically, who's doing something but is very, very weak in the communication, never talks about what they do, never talk about how well they do this. So, and well, right, which is only focused on the business they have, keeping the contacts they have, keeping the pool of customers they have now, right, in their key accounts and so on, instead of spreading the word and trying to compete in China by getting more visibility, more clients, more feedback, more innovation. So I think all those kind of businesses which call themselves hidden champions, good luck, really. I think a lot of them will disappear. So therefore, I like this way how you talk about also really to think about what is behind the message, right? Trying to build a bridge, right? Really also interact not only with their own team, but also learn from the factories, from the suppliers, right? Take all this into consideration because I think all this is very important.
Very much so. Closing thoughts. If there was one thing that someone could have told you before you arrived in China, what do you think that would have been?
One thing.
The one thing that someone just told you before, like, hey, about China. Easier. What would you tell your past self about China?
Try to be as possible close to the people in China to understand, trust. Like it's like really common, but trust the process in the way that you stay here. You don't know how long time you stay in China, so go outside, go to see the people, because even people in the common people, not maybe tomorrow a customer. Even in the street, like talk with people and learn from them, even if sometimes you have this lack of communication, of course, but really try to, more in China than the other country, maybe, like try to understand the others. Try to understand the others.
I'm also sure that now when you have, say, managers or directors from France who've come and visit China maybe once or twice a year, with you being here, would you agree that it's not always so business focused? I mean, business focus is always important for them when they come over here. But you being here, is it a connection? Is it a bridge of communication where it's just a bit more? They feel more relaxed.
Yes.
When they come over here.
I think I try to spread some ideas and. Sometimes I try to do the bridge. Sometimes I try to push French people in the way that I know to push them to the Chinese. Like you say, okay, but you complain about that, but you know that they have a lack of this. For example, I don't know, they are not straightforward. For example, so be kind with them in the way that they can give you some ideas to talk with them, and in another hand, because Chinese people sometimes are not too straight. I said to my team, like, to my manager, I said, find a way to tell the things, even if it's not straight. Find a way enough relevance to push to the French, and like that they can answer to this question, not straight, but. I try to push the two sides with the cultural aspect that I know, and I need to know more and more, but to bring like a new communication, like
Very good.
a certain way, like breaking the chains that they have already, the thinking they have for each other, and to bring them together in another way of communication, And
it's totally different because like 20 years ago, right? I still learned from my boss at this time, who has been French by chance, but it has been a German company, that one of the tasks of the company is to develop the Chinese consumer so that they accept our business model, right? So, which is of course completely ridiculous. So therefore, I'm very happy the way how you mentioned it, and it's a big learning. It's a big learning, really.
All right. Okay, well, as you're the guest, you have to find the boss.
Yeah. See you later. All right.
Thanks.
Au revoir.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Anthony, for joining.
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Thank you for you
It's been
to let
honestly-
me this opportunity.
And I know that you're going to Bangladesh
Yes.
soon, no? So it'd be quite interesting to hear your thoughts.
Maybe we should have a follow-up after
Yes,
after Christmas. Yeah.
Sure. That would be good because that would be a completely different culture as well.
Yes,
No?
that can be
Then you have
another,
3
yes.
cultures now.
Yes.
That'll be really cool.
Yes.
Alrighty.
It's going to be really interesting.
Cool.
Tschüssi.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.